I always find interesting is for us to spend a little bit of time just exploring what you get out of this behavior.
Yeah.
So what do you get out of, like, what, because you do get something out of it, out of that kind of handling it, not going into the emotion. What are the benefits of
that? It just means I can keep going, I guess. I think if I really wallowed in the fact when the first house sale fell through, I wouldn't have been able to do what I needed to do. So I just had to think, okay, it's a pain, but actually nobody's died. It's just a house sale's fallen through. Financially, it's a big implication for me, but then I'll just work harder. So that's why that's definitely what I've done this year.
So can I stop you there just for one second?
Yeah.
So what I noticed in your language was that you said, okay, so if I wallowed, not even if I paused or kind of acknowledged in some way, but if I kind of wallowed, then I wouldn't have been able to do what I needed to do. I wouldn't have been able to carry on. Is that true?
No, of course. No, it's not actually. No, it's good. Yeah, that's great observation of that, because of course I could. And actually having time to acknowledge my emotions in that time would have been perfect. Because what that would have done, I wouldn't have just gone into, I then become very spontaneous. I mean, a friend who's somebody I've just met, they're just so spontaneous. You don't really think about stuff. You just go, you see a house, I'm going to have that house. You don't think, okay, let's look at, and then a bit further on, I think, oh my God, I need to really look at this. But yeah, it is slowing down. I need to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that I'm slowing down, but my body might be slowing down in though I'm not rushing around going to school and things, but actually my brain is still going.
Mm-hmm. So something's coming up for me when you're speaking, and I just want to try it on. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit, and that's fine. But I just feel like there's something around, you have really strong core values around like love and giving.
Yeah.
And I just wonder if you came from that space and kind of paused, so that you could pause in that space rather than in kind of showing it through doing and acting the whole time, whether that might sustain you a little bit more.
Yeah, I like that. I really like that, because actually then it's that touching your value, trust, going in with your values, isn't it? Because actually when you said those words, I thought, yeah, that absolutely is me. But I just thought about give it to somebody else. And then just in that moment, I stopped and thought, actually, what happens? And it made me quite tearful. Actually, I could feel the tears sort of coming out just behind my eyes, thinking, actually, that's what I need to give to myself. I need to give the love, and I need to give to myself. You know, I work hard. It's not just about working hard, but I do give, and I love giving. It's a part of me that I do love about. I don't think about that. It's just something that I naturally do. But to stop and give to myself feels a bit, but it also feels really lovely on this level down here. On here, this level, it's a bit, but in my soul, it feels really lovely. And my body has actually gone, yeah, that feels lovely.
Wow. So your head is sort of running the show a little bit, and your body is trying to talk to your head, but your head's not listening. Like, no, we haven't got time for this. No wallowing. No, carry on.
Yeah, and that's really, oh my God, honestly, this is amazing, because honestly, it really makes me tearful, because I perceive that I work from my heart. I feel that I work from my heart. And I'm really mindful about my head, and I've lost that connection in that because of the busyness of, certainly over the last year. I think because the school thing was so painful for me. I had to cut that emotion off because it was too, I mean, it was just a huge grief I was going through. That when I know when I live my true self, when I live from my heart, and that is, and I've lost that, and I need to get that back in an affirmation or mantra, because actually that's when I work from my best place, when I'm working from my heart, because it's working for my true self.
And what does that feel like when you're working from your heart?
It feels amazing. I mean, I feel really, really emotional. I feel really emotional about it in a really good way. It's like, oh my God, honestly, it's like somebody's come down and sprinkled magic dust all over me and gone, oh, Jill, that's a little bit of a revelation, love.
And that's you, isn't it? That is you. That is who you are. And that is who you are in the world.
Yeah.
And actually, your brain is kind of telling yourself that, okay, that was all well and good, but there's something else that needs to happen here, rather than kind of trusting that in some way and allowing, because your heart does know better. I think, I read a book a few years ago, which was about, as the fetus, as the embryo grows, it's the heart that starts first. And then I think it's the intestine and then your brain. So actually the heart is actually created from a tiny seed first. I think I've got that right. I'm certain the heart is definitely before the brain. Gut might be after, but I think it is that way. So,
that makes sense. And I know, all the way through at teaching, I would always say to the, it would always be academic. And I would always say to the kids, it's more than that. We can learn those things, but we've got to come from our heart. And that would always be my message with the children I was teaching. Just go from your heart. This is where it is. And I touch my heart a lot, because it is such a special, sacred place, obviously, but it's that, God, that's just amazing. It's just really, just settling with me now. And it's really amazing. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Are we done? Okay.
Bloody hell, sorry.
I've sworn in my other ones.
It's that's just, and you see, even when I was saying, I can understand it, and then I just thought, just let it settle, Jill, and I actually just let it settle. It's just like, fuck, that's just amazing. That is. And then the emotion comes out because I'm allowing it to come out, because that's what I know is true. Yeah, I mean, God, if I just take that from this session, that is, like, honestly, it's mind-blowing. It's really, really mind-blowing. It's one, I'm honestly, my legs are going, whoa.
So what does that mean for you on a kind of in your ability for how you're being as Jill in the world?
It just, my body, it's like my heart is saying to me, thank the Lord you're at last listening. You're listening to, it's having to come from outside, but you're listening to that.
Nice.
So that for me, it just means it just makes me retouch with my heart. And that's the work I've got I want to do, reconnecting with my heart and go from my heart, and question myself through my heart. Do I want to be running 5 miles today, or do I want to be just walking in calmness? And my heart says, you want to be walking in calmness. Like, push.
What was that, heart? What was that?
Yeah. So it is that. So what that will do, that, I mean, it's not just it's not like, that's something I can put into my life again. It's like, actually, that's the key, that's the core thing, that's where you live from, and you've lost it, you've missed that, you've gone into your head, and the last thing I want to do is go into my head, because it's totally where's my heart? So my heart does tell me a lot of sense.
I was quite Jill now. Head's a bit shouty.
It's like, whoa.
Our heads do really love kind of fixing stuff, and it is our processing center, isn't it? But our heart can be like, like you said, the source of our action. And actually, if it can direct things, it's a much better captain. What's that book called? there's a book called The Master and the Emissary, and
Oh,
it's quite a it's quite a spiritual book about ego and about the higher self. And
yeah,
actually, you know, we go, I'm hopefully going to quote this correctly, but the premise is that the emissary is kind of going around doing the master's work, and then after a while it kind of thinks, oh well, they're not doing anything, oh I'm the one doing all the work, so I'm the one that should get all the kind of accolade. And actually that's kind of how we live as modern people, is that, you know, we kind of have forgotten that kind of higher self thing, of which is directing. We're all like me, busy, and then we kind of think that we know better than the master, which is like, we're all connected and amazing and aren't we beautiful, you know. And it's kind of coming back to going, oh no, I need to listen to that greater voice inside myself, rather than that busy must fix and sort everything out person. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and I always used to work with a higher self. That's disappeared somewhere. Yeah, it's
super common, Jill. You know, it is like that, you know, just the brain loves to fix stuff and get things done, and it becomes addictive, because, you know, it's nice, you know, you see other people smiling and doing things, and, you know, we get things done, and that's great and it's satisfying, but at some deeper level it's not satisfying, is it? From the way you described it anyway.
Yeah, no, absolutely.